it's between us. I think most Asians.
But you're live.
It's between all of us. It's between all of us. I think most agents that are failing as a not making 10K a month are like almost like me, like a little delusional. Like, you know what? My company is they're here for me, they're gonna give me leads. I just gotta put in my time and they'll see my talent and they'll give me those deals.
Yeah.
And then, like, I've been at 4 companies and I see it where I'll go back to that company that I left because they stopped giving me leads. Because they were like, oh, okay, he's good. No, I'm not. I need more, right? They'll stick around and I'll go visit them and it's like they're like in a corner and it's dark and they're just plugging away and they're going like, oh, I'll probably get a lead shift next month. Oh, I know they're gonna. I'm going like, man, like, can't trust these companies.
It's hard to build a sustainable business off of just working cold leads. It's pretty damn difficult.
People do it. They're out there.
You know, it's a multi-step process. You can start that way. Obviously, that makes sense because you don't necessarily have a book of business when you start. So you got to kind of do it that way, or you got to hammer your sphere of influence. But if you go the cold lead route, you're going to turn those people into your sphere of influence and get referrals from. That's where you're going to really build like a business, right? Like you could maybe do a sale or something a month with that strategy. Like you can make a couple sales, but like you want to turn it into an actual business, you got to have like a good referral
Network
and process.
Most don't have a sphere of influence. Look at Christo Sid came over from Baird & Warner. And yeah, I know a lot of their training is get your sphere of influence, sell to them. And the guy came from New Jersey 2 years ago. What sphere of influence?
Right. You gotta make it happen. And it's like, I think this brings up a good point that I've noticed. It's just like people, you could say delusional, like you said. Like they just kind of have wrong idea of what's going on here, like how to be successful in this business. It's not just going to fall on your lap because you got licensed. Like you have to go out and you have to make it happen somehow. You either got to be like good at marketing and like make a lot of content, which is a fine strategy. You got to have, maybe you have some people within your network already who maybe they're investors, or maybe you have some angle there you could work. Like you just know a lot of people and you can make a bunch of phone calls. That could work to get started. You could pay for ads, generate cold leads, go from there. Like there's many ways you can get started for sure. But I think people believe that they're going to get licensed, they're going to come to some company and the company's going to feed them leads. It's just not realistic.
Only thing they get hit with is MLS dues.
Right.
That's what you get hit with. There's your deal. Deal with that.
It becomes a very expensive hobby.
This is a very expensive hobby.
Yeah, if you're not actually prospecting.
Yeah, I admit I'm not into prospecting. When I did do it, I would not show up to the appointment. Like, that was too easy. You know, it's just. But now I'm like, well, I'll just teach it to other guys. Have them do the prospect. They'll be excited to show up. I never get excited to show up to your house and smell your carpet with your dog crap all over. I'm like, I don't want to sit there and sniff. It smells like dog. Your home smells like wet dogs. I don't enjoy doing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this stuff, and it's like the actual like real estate service is usually the least of it. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna do a fine job. Like you are. You're gonna price it correctly. You're gonna you do the same things everybody else. You're gonna market it, get photos, put it on the MLS, do the basics. Fine, and that works fine. But like, yeah, all that grunt work, going out to the homes, doing like the showings.
You know what's the critical part of all that process? It's the pricing.
Yeah.
Proper pricing, and realtors are scared of sellers because sellers are yellers and buyers are liars.
But I think it's...
Which is your poison, right?
Exactly, pick your poison.
I'd rather deal with the yelling sellers, to be honest. I like to...
Yeah, generally that's going to be more valuable.
Because I love that chaos. I'm so angry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Get angry. I love it.
Well, like a lot of times sellers, they don't really care about what you're talking about. They just want you to give them a number that you think. Which is dangerous because you're kind of giving them all the information up front and then like they don't need you anymore type of thing. So you have to find a way to strategically like build the relationship before you give them like that number. Because that's all they really want at the end of the day. And so that comes back to you being like a competent professional, like a good salesperson, knowing your stuff, being trained, being educated. But
it bumped us off live. Just now.
Internet.
2 minutes, fucking internet.
Well, it's still recording. You could upload it.
Oh, you're recording on the big boy.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Well, yeah, and I'm still on the Instagram Live. I forgot about that.
Yeah, see? So, I guess the topic is, like, your expectations as an agent. Like, I think when people are first getting started, their expectations are ass backwards. They're just completely wrong. They think it's so easy and you're just going to, like you said, get fed leads. You're not. And if you are, there's not enough of them coming in for you to like build a book of business. You got to go out there and you got to find a way to make it happen on your own. And there's many, many ways to do it. And I'm sure there's a way that works for everybody based on your talent, based on your experience, etc. But you not to be like cheesy, but like you have to be a self-starter as a real estate agent. Like you have to be a self-motivator.
Yeah.
You got to be able to figure it out. And that sounds vague because it is, and there isn't like one precise like path for everybody. But there's many, many, many different paths to the same place. So it's like, how can you leverage your own talent? How can you leverage, where you've been, what you've done, to like gain exposure for yourself?
Like an asset.
Yeah. Like maybe you got a big personality, you're like a really funny person. That's gonna do really well by you making like videos for social media, right? People are gonna enjoy watching that. Maybe you're a really good writer. That could work too. There's many, many different ways to go about it. But it's like a matter of finding what you're actually good at or competent at. Because you're probably not going to be good at everything. No one is.
There's one of my favorite books by Jim Camp. It's called Release Your Brakes.
Sounds like what we're talking about.
And it's really about that is people are told, work on your weakness, right? But they're never told enhance your strengths.
Yeah,
double, triple down on what you're strong at.
I agree. I say you can get incrementally better at everything you're really bad at, but you're probably more successful just doubling down on what you are good at. Even if it's not, sometimes it's not obvious that it's like an asset, but there's always a way to figure it out and leverage it. And I just think you're going to have a much better time also doing stuff that you are good at that you can actually accomplish.
And you said a very important word, asset. I think what's helping me a lot is I'm pivoting from seeing myself as a realtor and seeing myself more as an asset manager. And now that I got this little team, I'm going, for example, Chris, right? He's an asset. He has leasing and sales license, super asset. Derek doesn't have a license, just a 120-day permit. Churchill, 100-day permit. Not that big of an asset. Still very critical to the system. Israel, they have their leasing license, good asset. Yeah, like earlier when you saw Chris there, I'm like, hey, let's see if we can drag him in here and get a little podcast action. He's a good-looking guy. Like, he's great on camera. He was even going to be in a big film. But he's like, he literally said, no, I got to work these rentals. This is why I don't like coming into the office because, I get distracted and I just want to work these rentals. And we're like, you got the sales license. You've been doing rentals for 2 years. Like, I get you're not burned down. That's good. However, it's also bad, right? You're in a comfortable zone right now. You're doing your rentals. You're comfortable making your 5K. When you can make that from one sale with like a fifth of the work.
That's a choice, right? Like, you can see yourself as an agent, like that's your career, or you can see it as you're a business owner. And the way you operate in the day-to-day is going to be different. The choices you make are going to be different. The activities you do every day are going to be different. But that's a choice. Both are fine. But it's just, you kind of got to pick a lane. Like, do you want to be an agent who's doing all the work, you're running around doing every showing, doing every open house, doing all this stuff, or do you want to treat it like a business? Like, you're a business owner, you have employees, and you have people helping you out. The answer is correct. Both ways. It's just you have to make a choice. So. You have to be able to define like where you are, where you want to be. Do you want to have like your own brokerage someday? Do you want to transition from sales into a different part of real estate? Like, maybe you want to be a builder. I don't know.
Yeah, it's right there.
There's many different avenues.
Love to build some large minimalist homes. I'm looking out there for investors. Whatever state you're in, I'll get my license in that state. You want to build in Indiana? Let's go. We'll build something there.
Yeah, you have like at least somewhat of a defined vision of like where you want your career to evolve to, and a lot of agents, I think, they just are thinking, okay, I have a license and I want to like sell homes, but like, what does that mean? There's like so many layers to that. Is that where you just want to be a career agent forever? Like, again, fine choice. Is that what's going to make you happy? Happy just being self-employed? Do you want to build a team? Do you want to build a whole company? Do you want to transition out to something else within real estate? Like, the path is going to be probably a lot smoother if you're able to define some of that stuff. And of course, you can't say what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, right? But like, the choices you make right now are going to dictate like where you're going. So the more you can define that path, the better. But I think most people are just starting and it's chaos because they're just like, how do I get leads? How do I get sales? But like, you don't know why you even want the sales. Like on the surface, you're like, I'm going to get a check and make some money, but like, so like, what are you going to use that money for? Like, what's the function of that?
I got bills. That was literally the answer. I got bills. Well, I mean,
and for some people, that's the answer, and it stops there, and that's fine. They just want to pay the bills. They want to be self-employed. That's nothing wrong with that. But like, what if you saw it as like business income? Like if you had a restaurant, you got to figure out how to make sales, right, to build the restaurant, not just how to pay yourself. Like, you're trying to actually support a business. It's a different mentality. You could have the same mentality for real estate, but it's like, how many deals do I need? Which you can define, like, you can do some math and you can define, I need X amount of leads to do X amount of sales, so I have X amount of money, so I can do X amount of things. So I can hire people, I can, have a full-time employee. You got to be able to define what you want, like where you want your business to go. So
intention, set the intention.
Intention, that's the word. Not just, I want to make sales so I can put money in my bank account.
And how does that fulfill your little heart?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Some people it does probably, but...
And you know what I call those? NPCs, non-playable characters. They're out there. I think they're known as Cabbage Patch Kids.
Okay.
They were grown in little patches and little soulless. And everybody thinks it's the gingers that don't have souls. They do. I've met many of them, and I think their souls are too damn strong, which is why they're hunted in Africa.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, but and it's between it's no offense, no disrespect to realtors out there that just want to treat this as a 9 to 5. It concerns me because I know that's not sustainable. Because I've seen agents that even Chris admitted, I've been there, I admit it, where you're like, there's a phase for a lot of realtors where they're going to go, I'm going to be 9 to 5, they'll go to the office, and 3 days are burned out from that. And what do they do in the office? Nothing. Learn contracts, this and that. But there was no deals happening.
Most people want the freedom that they think this brings, but in reality, like, it's hard to teach somebody to be like an entrepreneur, if that's what you want to call it. It's tough to teach that. Like, you kind of either have that or you don't. I've come to terms with, like, you could teach people the process and what to do, but like, they're still responsible for doing it on their own. There's no like boss to tell you what you need to do, when you need to do it, how much you need to do it. Like, you have to be, again, self-motivator. And that's the hardest part about doing this, I've found. So you can systematize all of this stuff. You can wherever brokerage you go to, like, they'll teach you how to be the agent, like, do the work, quote unquote, but you got to be the one to actually choose to do the work. Like, you do, because you're not clocking in, getting paid, and like, what you get done, you get stuff done or you don't, fine, but no, like, you're going to get paid directly, proportionally to what you do. But it's like, that's the part you can't really like teach someone or motivate someone to do. So like, yeah, those people that you're talking about, like, they want to like make a sale here and there, and they want to get a paycheck and like pay their bills, and they're fine with that. But if you're getting into this, like,
That's a different kind of delusion there. You're looking for stability in perhaps the most unstable industry out there.
Right. And then we can go on and on about...
Because, for 5 years, it's all condo sales only. Now it's buyer market. Well, now it's commercial market. Now it's this market. And, yeah, you want something comfortable, want to be a 9 to 5 agent. That's... The only ones I've seen... that are real successful with that are the ones that are religious about eating the frog first thing in the morning, which would be cold calling, expireds, for sale by owners. I've seen them, and they're in the office 7:30 in the morning calling people before they go to work.
You gotta put some structure to this. You gotta be able to define those blocks.
Afternoons, you would go door knocking with this guy. I mean, these two were...
Yeah, it's no surprise. Like, the people who are active, they're always the people in the office who are making sales. Like, it's not like some secret. Like, if you are active.
Oh yeah, and he got good, and like, I was really shocked. I go door knocking, like, what can be so strategic about it? He had he had some strategies. For sure. He had a little list of like questions. You ever plan on moving out 5 years? Where do you see yourself? Where would you move to? So now he's like collecting data. But the fun did stop, and the homeowner came out his door, because like 5 of us out there door knocking like cockroaches. And he goes, "Oh, you fucking realtors better get out of this neighborhood. I'm calling the cops." And while he's yelling it, Larry was pointing out something interesting. He goes, "Yeah, but tomorrow I'm going to come back and knock on that house." And we're like, we were going to leave. He goes, "This is legal. I'm not trying to piss off the neighborhood." He goes, "But I'm going to target this house." And we're like, "That's the ugliest house in the 3-block radius." He goes, "Precisely." He's like, "Think about it. It's owner can't keep up with maintenance. Either he's going to go bye-bye, or he just doesn't care or needs to downgrade. Like, he's got a problem. It's a problem home, and I got the tools to solve it." And then we were literally we're going like behind us. We were just going like, "He wants to deal with that shit listing? Ew." But he was doing 2 of those a month. I'm doing 2 every 6 months, if that, because of my ego.
Yep.
But the guy's not thinking about his ego. He's just thinking strategy.
You can think about your ego later, but like, especially like early in the game, you just got to do stuff. Like, he's got, but again, that's a choice he made. That's mentality that he chooses to have. Like, he's not going to say, I'm too good for this, or it's too hard, or blah, blah, blah. Or he's not going to judge.
Yeah, we couldn't understand his excitement.
Right. Well, because he sees the vision.
Yeah. Like, he saw, as we were saying earlier, like, he's got that entrepreneur mindset where he saw an opportunity where we're like,
just say yes to everything. It's gonna, look, you never know what opportunities are going to present themselves. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know, like, some random person you meet, you could judge them on the surface. You could be like, it's not going to lead to anything. And then they wind up being like one of your best clients ever. They send you deals all the time and you make a lot of money from that relationship.
Oh, the Sandler selling system.
Maybe. Not familiar with that one.
No, yeah, it's a whole $1,000 program, and the whole moral of it, the only nugget out of it was be nice to the person mopping the floors, because they might be the owner's daughter, son, or they might, you don't know who's got real influence.
Right. And if you just are very active every day, you're going to inevitably meet people like that over time that are going to create opportunities. You're going to knock on doors all the time. You're going to create an opportunity that you probably didn't see coming. And this is all a product of just being active, just putting structure to your day-to-day real estate activities. The cold calling, like you said, door knocking, whatever. We can name 20 different things you could do. But as long as you're, like saying, for 1 hour a day, I'm going to cold call. For 1 hour a day, I'm going to do a video for social media. For 1 hour a day, I'm going to do a podcast for 1 hour.
Man, I love Reddit, and I read a funny comment as you were talking about cold calling, door knocking. It was on the Realtor Reddit. They go, somebody's like, oh, I got another deal, cold call. Somebody put on there, like, why don't you leave cold calling back in the 90s? Like, go buy leads like an adult. Go create content. Go do something for the community. Become, influence. And I was like, yeah. But then somebody further in the comments, I like what they said, which was, well, maybe you just don't know how to maximize that or whatnot, because I know a few agents that cold call and are comfortably making, 6 figures, 100K. Like, so don't say, oh, take that back to, it's still around for a reason.
By the way, the quick and dirty math, like, at least in our area, if you want to make over 100K, you need to do like 2 homes a month. That's not unattainable.
No, not at all.
Right. And that's like, you're not going to probably do that in the first month. Like, you're not going to have that kind of system set up, but within 6 months, you could be closing 2 deals every month. That gives you over $100,000 gross salary. That's not like too far away, is all I'm saying.
Oh.
But to close 2 deals a month, you have to have proper steady flow of leads. You have to have a proper follow-up system. I mean, you gotta have structure to your day and what you're doing every single day. And just being active is going to create those opportunities over time. And it's not like it could create it. It's absolutely, basically guaranteed. Like, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
But that's the part you can't teach people. It's like, without like a boss looking over their shoulder, you can't teach them to from exactly 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. they're doing this activity. And it's just like,
and it really works. Maybe I'm the special case here, but I know it works. Like when I told you I was cold calling, I had appointments, but I didn't show up to them. I have a theory, and I know it's fucking true. Fear. I got a natural fear of success.
I'm the same way.
Because I know, there's the same wealthy people, they go, a lot of new wealth they run into a problem, and I'm like, I want to make sure I'm mature enough so I don't have that problem. And the problem that a lot of new wealth run into is they say they stare into this like black abyss when you have so many options that if you're not ready for that, like it can jack you up and back into poverty you go. So yeah, part of me, I don't know, for the longest I've been worried about too much success and what it'll do to me, and I might not be strong enough to counter any countermeasures.
Yeah, we get real psychological on this, but
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, this is what people want. Yeah, there's folks out there that know they can crush it in sales, but they have this fear of like, well, when I succeed, then what? Like, what's the next thing? Or like, what do I do now? Or do I just keep doing that? But then what's the purpose? Like,
right, and like I'm a huge, that's like a huge problem for me. And it's like, yes, like I think, well, what am I going to do if I actually accomplish my goal? And like a lot of people are defined by what they do, whatever the venture is, and then they're like, okay, now I'm successful at it, I got to do something else, and they can't just do this. And now I'm just like doing it, same thing over and over again, and it's like I've already proven I can be successful. It's like now I have to redefine my identity, and people struggle with that a lot.
yeah.
And it's like, if I feel like I've succeeded at something and I've kind of reached the top, you could always argue like, oh, you'll never reach the top. There's always going to be something else to do within that. But like, I just struggle with this concept of like, I'm afraid that like I'm wrong or something. Like I was doing the wrong things, and like I'm afraid that like I took the wrong path. And
Nothing worse than putting your ladder up against the wrong wall.
Yeah, and like for some reason that upsets me. That kind of scares me, and it's like, well, it kind of sounds like an excuse to just not do stuff. But regardless if it's like on a conscious level or unconscious level, that's something I just always struggle with, because it's like I don't want to get what I would consider to be like the top, or like to be considered successful at something, and then be like, oh, that was it. Like that didn't fulfill me like I thought it would, and that was like a waste.
That's why they say that your goals should be so bodacious that you can't reach them.
Yeah, right, and that's part of it.
And I've been rewriting mine. Like this year, last year was 50 active listings per month. I got that. This year, I got 50 agents.
And I think the lesson there is like, when you are just starting out, you don't have even one, right? And so you're like, that seems far away. But then all of a sudden, like, that's your new barometer, because you've built a process to do.
Now you're obligated, yeah.
But now, let's say you have a team and you got 50 deals coming in every month. Eventually, that's just going to feel normal, and like you're.
And I would want every agent to have 50 deals.
But no matter what, it's like, okay, we leveled up, but it just feels normal now.
Yeah.
So
what's the next one?
So the system is in place. Like, it doesn't feel any different than doing 2, than doing 10, than doing 50, than doing 100. Like, it doesn't feel different to you. Like, if that makes sense. That's what I would believe. And so it's like, well, where does it end? Where do you make a pivot? Like, and I don't think it's reasonable to know the answers to those questions, like, until you're there and you can actually make a decision. You're actually at a crossroad. I don't think you should be even thinking about doing 100 deals a month or whatever until you're doing 2. Like, start with the next step. Don't be thinking 10 steps ahead. There's no point in that.
Oh yeah, no. Steps.
So like,
well, right now, this first quarter, I have as many sales as all last year.
yeah, you're on fire.
Yeah. And so now I gotta keep that. Like, now every quarter I have to make as much as I did the entire last
So
year.
now reverse engineer it. And you could say, well, in the last 3 months, what did I do? How many calls did I make? What activities did I take that resulted in this number of sales?
Talking to owners that I manage their property for.
Right. But now how do you just replicate that every day, every week, to make the same amount of sales? So you can get to a point where you're predicting that number of sales every month based on the activity you did.
That's why buying leads offers a good form of comfort.
it'll create a new funnel filler, right? Like you're going to bring people in. Some of them might buy right away, and it'll be more transactional. But a lot of them are just going to fall into the follow-up sequences, and they might buy 6 months or a year from now.
Which is fine. I'm here till I'm 120.
There you go.
All right.
I think that's enough fire for one day.
We got 15 subscribers added out of that.
Really?
Yeah.